Hello, and welcome to another episode of Point to Point. It is the show where I drive from one place to another as part of my morning commute, and I try to get to the point. Today's point, we're talking about guides. I have been playing a lot of Blasphemous on the Nintendo Switch Lite recently. It's really got its hooks in me in a real Spanish Inquisition black metal kind of way. And that game it's very good. It's very fun to play. It's very like Soulsy in many ways. The typical bonfires and the enemies come back. You have your souls or what have you that will kind of tick up as you kill enemies and then act as experience points or unlocks for skills. And the other way in which this game is incredibly soulsy is it's freaking inscrutable, man. It's like not quite as bad as something like Elden Ring, mostly because it's a 2D Metroidvania, so you're going back to places and there's not weird one-off tiny nooks somewhere that a very important NPC could be. Thinking about you, Jarberg, like if you're not poking at the edges of the map, it's not like you're gonna struggle to find some people. But it does have some of the quest stuff where if you don't do things in specific ways or at specific times before you do other things, it changes quest steps and it changes kind of where rewards are and what you need to do to get to them. And so I have been using like mostly the terrible, awful fandom wiki and trying to just like piece together my experience when I pick stuff up. And like it's not like I'm not doing a walkthrough quite yet. I don't think I need to for that, but knowing the specific quest steps for stuff is helpful for me. I don't have this. I don't think I ever put the piece out, actually. Maybe I should do that. Last year around the time I was playing Dragon Age Veilguard, I had a piece that I was writing. It's probably like 2/3 of the way done at this point, and I just never put it out. We had talked about, Logan and I had talked about for the website doing like issues, kind of like having a week or a month around a specific topic and then putting out pieces and videos and kind of written stuff to fit within that theme, just as like a good centralizing concept. And the first one that I come up with was the UI issue. I am personally a UI designer, sort of, in my day job. So I think about game UI and I think about like menu UI in a way that is like coming from a place of professional practice, kind of. And so the first article I had, there's 3 articles that I was writing. One of them was on why the Destiny map is so ubiquitous when it's maybe not the best way to do stuff, like the Destiny menu system, the cursor hovering around stuff. The second one was about Dead Space and the diegetic menus in there, like what makes that so interesting and just a different way of doing menu design. And the third one was about the UI design in Dragon Age Veilguard, which is all related to this blasphemous stuff, because the stuff in Dragon Age Veilguard that I really like the most is related to relationships with your Veilguard members, as well as the like choices that you make. And so there's really good UI indicators in Dragon Age Veilguard that does it simply does the such and such will remember that thing that we've seen in Telltale games forever. But it's kind of interesting because it does it in sometimes when you have that person in your party, you'll say like, hey, that faction that you hate, I also hate them. And they'll say like, oh yeah, such and such approves of that. But when you're in the larger kind of Veilguard settings where you're making decisions and talking stuff, when you have the whole team there, it's kind of interesting to see what people will approve of or disapprove of sometimes. And it kind of, it is kind of surprising, because you find out that these people have more interiority than maybe the characters themselves seem to when you're playing that game. And it kind of does, it's very shorthand, but it does the thing that I think we can do in real life, where we kind of pick up on body language cues and we can kind of tell like, oh, maybe that thing I just said didn't actually sit well with this person, and now I need to like internalize that. And as like good video game shorthand, I think it succeeds in that. The other thing that Dragon Age Veilguard kind of succeeds in that I like as well is, no, it will tell you, because you did this thing, this is the outcome of this quest. Or the one that I'm thinking about is, it specifically tells you, because you have not completed this quest, this person will only provide this ending, in kind of like abstracted terms, but also like pretty clear. And so that allowed me, when I saw that indicator, like, oh, okay, I'll just go load the last save. And that's great, because also in the save system in Veilguard, there is it's like a temporary decision save, I think is what it's called. So what happens is, let's say that the quest I'm thinking of is about the Shadow Dragons, and basically like the outcome of that faction. And you go to Nev, who's from Minrathous and is like involved in the Shadow Dragons, but her personal quest is still active. Like, I didn't finish out her personal companion quest yet. So I go to her at this pivotal thing where it's like, okay, like, tell me the outcome of this faction. Oh, hey, Nev is here, go talk to her. So you go talk to Nev, and she kind of, like, you ask her, like, hey, what do you think should happen to this faction? And she's really wishy-washy, and then the little indicator on the side of the screen pops up and says, oh, because you haven't completed, the end of her quest line, she's so preoccupied that she's not thinking about this right now. And before you enter that dialogue with her, it starts, like, it creates a temporary decision save. So I saw that and I was like, oh, well, this means that I'm not going to get the outcome to this quest that I would like. Let me reload that save. Let me reload that temporary decision save. And then you can just leave the quest as is, go complete Nev's quest, come back. It creates a new temporary decision save. You talk to Nev. She's no longer preoccupied. She has an opinion. And then you can kind of get the outcome that you want. And that sounds very programmatic, right? But it means that I always have an idea, at least, of what I need to do in order to be given the options. And it means that, I felt comfortable playing the Veilguard without ever pulling up a guide, because the game signposts its consequences and its choices really well, and it also shows you what you need to achieve a thing, or why you weren't able to get what you wanted, or kind of learn something about the characters. And I only bring that up because I think that is a part of like conversation design and quest design that is almost exclusively, like, it's a retroactive indicator of where you are now. And I think that that's maybe a better way of doing it than the typical, like, Bethesda or even in Avowed, the like skill check thing where it says like, oh, you need to have 15 resolve, but you only have 3, and therefore this dialogue option is just dashed out. You're never going to see what it is until you have that number. Because ultimately, I want to be playing a role-playing game and know my options. Like, I want to be able to make the best correct choice. And when it's skill-based, it's hard for me to make that choice because, it feels like I chose wrong in the character tree, right? Instead of, having put myself into resolve, like understanding that this is the one like that will result in this option, because I think the fun of a role-playing game is that like you can role play as a character with stats, but we see plenty of characters in fiction and even in general real life where like the barbaric person who has like big muscles and a big old axe is also quite charismatic, but they didn't bump points into resolve because they needed it. So I don't know, I feel kind of weird about how modern RPG systems work like that when it comes to conversation design, and I think that Veilguard did it right. And that kind of loop it all the way back, I guess. I think that connects up to Blasphemous because these Souls-like games, they kind of have quest design, quote-unquote quest design, lowercase q quest design, where it's mostly just do this thing, talk to this person at the right time with the thing, and then move forward. And I think at this point there's been enough of these games that the assumption is that if you can talk to an NPC, they probably have a quest for you, you just haven't figured it out yet. But because these games are so inscrutable, and even just like reading the description of stuff, it's not clear. Like in Blasphemous, there's a part of the inventory that's just called quest items, and quest items can include everything from the items that you get to when you defeat the big boss, or it can be empty health flasks that you need to go put somewhere to get more health flasks, or it could be this is some garlic. And you can read those descriptions, but none of them say exactly what you need to do with them, or it definitely doesn't tell you where you need to go with them. But some of them are find a thing in the world and pay it money, and some of it is, hey, go give this garlic to a dude. And especially in a game that is like, I think I'm about 12 or so hours into it, I don't remember why I have this golden thimble. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. I don't remember what the beginning of it was. I don't remember what the end is supposed to be. And I definitely don't know when I have the end of the golden thimble where I'm supposed to take it. And then you add on top of that, this is a 2D Metroidvania where the world state of the particular screen seems to be set when you enter it. So, the golden thimble, right? I looked it up. I was like, oh, right, this guy, Girano, I think his name is, he gives you the golden thimble, and when you defeat this one boss, you have to go to the end, defeat the boss. There's a little thing, and then you fill up the little thing with some scalding oil. You take the thimble back to him, which you have to remember to do, and for me, that was 2 major bosses ago, so, hey. You take it back to him, and then there's some dialogue. His state has slightly changed because I defeated other bosses. And then he just gives you like 2 lines of dialogue, end of story. And if you are like me, you have basically completed that quest. Like the quest is done. You didn't really get anything for it, but it's over. And all you need to do is exit the screen and then return to him, and now there's 2 more items there. One of them is like the reward, and one of them is like a other quest item. But because I did those 2 other bosses, the quest item that I received can't be used right now. I have to get a different skill. And this is just like all of this to say, like, it would have been nice for the game to tell me any of that stuff. And like it doesn't need a quest log. Like there is some amount of discovery that I do enjoy. Like I usually end up using a guide or a wiki page as the last reservation when I don't know what I'm doing. But I don't know, like sometimes these games, and I kind of felt this way about Night Rain too, where it's just sometimes these games are inscrutable, and they're just inscrutable to be difficult sometimes. And I think someone posted this as a comment on one of my previous episodes about Night Rain, but like they have to make a video game that people want to play. And for some people, that stuff is going to work for them. Like the discovery aspect is something that they'll enjoy and is like a net benefit of playing the game. And then I just think that, you know, for a lot of people, that shit's just inscrutable and not fun. And I don't know, like it seems anti-player in some aspects, when I need to, in order to proceed playing with your game, I need to go to the internet. Like this feels like it's the thing that a lot of people say is like the best part of playing a Souls game, is that you need to get the Souls game right when it comes out so you can be with all of the people discovering it. And I don't know, like it's a real push and pull, because like a good puzzle game, when you nail it, like when you figure it out, you're like, ah yes, I hit the jar man in the back, and then I did the whole jar man quest. I stumbled upon finding Alexander, and like, man, look at this cool reward. Like, what a cool thing. But when so much of the stuff that you do in that game, like the actual goal-based stuff that you do in Elden Ring, is knowing where the hell to find Bach the seamstress, or like finding Blade and all of those guys, like it just feels like there should be some indication that that is what you should be doing. And I feel the same way about Blasphemous. And like I have very much, as I have grown older, lost any reservations that I have with doing guides and stuff. Like I will be one of the first people to be presented with a dialogue option and then immediately hit the button that says, okay, let's go to the internet and see what all of these options mean, because I don't have a ton of time to play games anymore. I don't have the ability I once had to play through Mass Effect 6 times so that I can get all of the male, female, good, neutral, bad options that I used to do. Like, I used to be a fiend with this stuff, and now I just want to get my one playthrough, and I want things to go right. And sometimes that's because games don't signpost well, and sometimes that's just because it's not clear what the outcome is going to be. And I feel that tension with Blasphemous right now, where it's really fun to play. I like where it's going, but in the achievements of that game, there is a good ending, there's a bad ending, and there's the true ending. And nothing is more I need to pull up a guide than seeing that there is a true ending and make sure that you do everything right. And I don't know. Like, maybe if I was a bit more into discovering this stuff and figuring it out by myself, it would be good. But also the game is hard, and, you know, every fuck up means that now you gotta go do a corpse run to reclaim your guilt, which, you know, hey, fair. That's just living, baby. But yeah, I don't know. It's been fun playing that game and being really free to hop into guides for a game that are, you know, that game's 6-7 years old now, I think. And so it's been good to do that. But yeah, I can definitely feel the friction with some of that stuff, and I wish that UI, and like, it doesn't have to be a quest log, but just some sort of indicator of like, hey, you're doing things right, or this is going poorly, would be good. But hey, thanks for hanging out with me. I have made it to the location, so I gotta sign off here and hop on the train. But thanks for hanging out. If you like this episode, you know, like and subscribe, share it with a friend, or you know, join the Discord, hit me up on Blue Sky. You can find all those links on 70percentcomplete.com, where I will be posting more articles. Maybe that Dragon Age article will go up pretty soon. I should finish that. But thanks for hanging out with me on this drive, and we'll talk tomorrow. See ya.